Hi everyone, Wes from Carl Wesley Sewing Patterns here, and in this video, I wanted to talk about 4 hard truths of being a fashion designer. For a little background, I started my career in fashion by trying to break into the luxury women's wear market in Chicago, and unfortunately, I didn't have a lot of success. Eventually, I stumbled onto a really unique niche of designing luxury men's underwear, and at that point was when my business really started to grow. I grew that business from zero, where I was cutting, sewing, and shipping every piece myself from my spare bedroom, to eventually I had a production shop working for me doing most of my sewing and order fulfillment. Between doing custom orders, a little bit of wholesale, and mostly selling online, I was able to make that my full-time job for a few years. I feel really fortunate to have that experience because most people that try to get into fashion design won't ever have that kind of success. And when a few things shifted in the business, I made the hard decision to close because I discovered that the business had grown into something that I didn't really enjoy anymore. I had created a fashion business so that I could focus on creating and designing, but it turned out that that really wasn't the case. That leads me to my first hard truth of being a fashion designer. Number 1, being a fashion designer actually involves very little time designing and creating fashion. I would estimate that when I was running my business, I probably spent about 5% or less of my total time actually designing clothes. In order to really make a living out of selling your designs, you're going to have to spend a lot of time on things like marketing, running your website, doing customer service, and any number of other things. You're also probably going to be shipping orders and sourcing raw materials, and all of those things together take a lot of time. Realistically, you're probably going to be doing a lot of the production yourself, which is the cutting and the sewing, and don't forget about bookkeeping. Hard truth number 2. Starting and running a fashion business is extremely expensive. It's totally possible to be able to hire out most of those things that I just mentioned, but I'm guessing if you're like me, you probably don't have mountains of cash sitting around to launch a brand. Even if you do a lot of the work yourself, the fabric and the sewing supplies alone can be really expensive. In addition to that, you're probably going to need to spend money on models, photography, and advertising, and all of that is before you even make a single sale. If you intend to hire out everything, which is the pattern making, the sample sewing, the web design, and any number of other things, you're really going to have a lot of money set up to launch your brand. You might also be looking at purchasing inventory, which is going to be a huge expense because production shops usually have a minimum order quantity. So all of that to say, it takes a lot of money and expense to keep a clothing line going, and it can be really difficult to turn a profit considering all of that overhead. Hard truth number 3. Most customers are not going to be interested in your most fabulous and grandest designs. The reality is that most people are pretty basic when it comes to fashion, and you may have spent 100 hours designing this most stunning ball gown, and it might get you a lot of attention on social media, but realistically, nobody's going to want to purchase that item. For most people, they're going to get the most wearability out of simple designs and neutral colors. Out of all the great designs I had, my number 1 bestseller by far was just a pair of plain white briefs. Hard truth number 4. There are no big breaks and there's no secret formula. What I mean by that is it's really unlikely that you are magically going to get discovered and then boom, all of a sudden you're a successful fashion designer. You're probably not going to get any viral Instagram posts, and you're probably not going to get into the next fashion design competition on TV. There's going to be a lot of blood, sweat, and tears, hours spent at your sewing machine late into the night, and struggling to get any traction at all. You're going to have a lot of haters that don't like your designs at all, and you're going to spend a lot of time feeling like you're really not making any progress. The truth is, there's probably not anyone out there that is spending a lot of time searching for your exact products, which means you have to go out and find your customers. You're going to fail a lot. And then when you think you failed at everything, you're probably going to fail some more. You're going to be working dead-end jobs and working on your clothing business nights and weekends. When I was growing my business, I actually worked at a warehouse and I absolutely hated that job. From experience, what I've learned is that what really makes the difference is consistency over time. And what I mean by that is you're going to get a sale here or a sale there, or a few more Instagram followers one day and then a few more the next day. And all of that effort compounded over time is eventually going to grow your business. Day by day, it's going to feel like you're not making a lot of progress. But at some point, you're going to take a step back and look back at how far you come, and you're going to think, wow, I've really made a lot of progress. So, conclusion. Being a successful fashion designer costs a lot in time, effort, and money. And realistically, you're probably not going to be spending all your time actually designing fashion. My reason for creating this video is not to discourage you from pursuing your dreams, but just to inform you of some of the hard truths that I'd wish I'd known fully before I got into the fashion business. All of that has a lot to do with why I've transitioned my business into a sewing pattern business, because that's where I feel like I really get to spend time creating, designing, and inspiring others. So thanks for checking out my video. I hope that you found it informative. And if you have any questions, don't hesitate to drop those in the comments below, and I'll get back with you soon. If you have any ideas for topics you'd like to see me cover in the next video, also let me know those. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.